Hi guys, it's me, Jocelyn Fina again. And unless you've been living under a rock for the past, I don't know, 3 or 4 years, you will make the observation that I am an American citizen. So yay for that. Hallelujah, I'm American. And I'm really hyped up for the 4th of July, our Independence Day, in which we broke away from Great Britain. So that was a very good thing. And this year is going to be a very special year, being that it's the 250th anniversary of the America's birth. So happy 250th birthday, America. And as such, I'm sure the president has a very special thing in store for the 4th of July. Oh no. He's playing a celebration that's going to be on June 14th. Ah, poo. He can't even wait to the 4th of July. He's got to make it on his birthday, no less. So, yeah, it kind of blows the cover of it really badly. You know, last year's parade was it was disguised very poorly as a military type of celebration, for the army or for the navy or something rather. So this year, the cover is blown. The birthday is going to be on his birthday because apparently Donald Trump represents America so well that anything that he goes for, anything that he represents, automatically covers for the whole of America. And we as American citizens have to deal with that. Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Makes a whole hell of a lot of sense. Anyway, I have a few predictions that I want to make about said birthday blowout. And this is based on stuff that we know of already and stuff that that I'm just speculating on. So here we go. Now, we already know that Donald Trump planned out a few people involved that would perform for him, like a Roman gladiator or something like that. The whole "are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?" type of argument. But we know that a few people, 99% of all the acts that were booked for that day have canceled because they have dignity and they don't want to be associated with Donald Trump's little birthday party. Especially on account that he's rigged prices for everything from gas to medicine to food to plastics to pretty much everything. Pretty soon he'll probably charge something to let you be able to breathe in the air, whatever the case is. So a lot of the acts canceled, which is good for them. And they say that they don't want to get involved with any political movement or politics in general. But we know the real reason is because he's such a horrible person and such a horrible human being that no one wants to be associated with that guy. in any case, these two big hacks that he called them now, if they were so unpopular and so overpaid, then why did you even want to have them in there in the first place? It's because he doesn't want to, he doesn't want them to have the last word. It's because it's not that they quit, it's just that I fired you before you could quit. Type of thing. So in any case, nobody wants to go friend on that day. Which is probably a really good idea. So, also for the same matter, I heard about the UFC fighters and the Ultimate Fighting Champions won't be, won't be wrestling at the Luke Cage match that he set up on the Warehouse Lawn. The most sacred part of the land of America, and he builds a big little kitty type UFC ring, with all lights and all the other things too. So that's kind of childish and stupid. But what's even more exciting is that no one wants to fight for him either. The whole gladiator thing about we who will die for you, salute you, type of thing. When this case, fight for your entertainment, because there's gonna be no killing involved with this, so that's good. And even they would have more dignity than to do that type of thing. So that's based on what we know too. And what we don't know is what Trump will be doing instead. I have a good feeling that he's probably gonna be playing this greatest hits again. That you're gonna go up there and make a big speech about how much gas prices are not going up high, how they don't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon, how he's the greatest thing in the world, blah blah blah, and this and that, and he's gonna plan on making Cuba our first state, even though that designation should gone to Venezuela, Greenland. Now I heard talk about Iran being number 51. So he knows what he's doing. He's that much of a genius that he's very unpredictable. And then he's probably gonna go into the whole the Iranian Navy is at the bottom of the sea, and that there is no more Iranian drone technology and all this other bullshit and BS and fluff and stuff like that too. So basically he's gonna blabber on about everything that we already know that he's gonna blabber on about. And I think that he should probably think of something new, like the Iranian Navy is at the bottom of the sea with Ariel, with King Triton, and with Atlantis. Spice it up a little bit, make it a little bit more different. We know Donald is not going to be doing anything creative because that would require his demented brain to do too much work. And we can't have that. And I know that based on what we've seen so far from the other events that he had, is that he's going to prop up the military members that he probably paid to go there, or coax in some other way to go there and be basically window dressing for his empty scenes and empty crowds. So the thing is about that is that he wants the military people to be there, which is fine, but then he wants to also he also wants the beautiful people to be there. So no people with disabilities, nobody with amputees, for example, nobody with any dietary problems either. He wants no fat people, even though he's about twice the weight of an average soldier. And he wants something about the bicep and the chest ratio to be up high, whatever that means. So he wants big, muscular, beautiful men to be present. I don't know, that sounds kind of dare I say, gay. Or maybe that's something that's more from Melania than anything else, you know. It's like some kind of request that she would make that you wanted to be surrounded with all kinds of muscular men, and, you know, in uniform and all that. Because let's face it, Donald Trump is not winning any type of fitness prize at any time soon, unless the donut crow from the Simpsons theme, or the ice cream chugger or something like that, you know. So there's that. So if I were a military member of the qualifying specifications, I would go there just to laugh at Trump's face. You know, I don't care if I get booed or whatever. I would just sit there and just heckle the guy. Because that's what it is. He's just a big clown at this point. Saying, "Oh, look at me, something me for my birthday and such." And it really is kind of disappointing that his birthday, June 14th, is exactly 4 days before my own birthday. So that kind of put the crimp in my sails. So yeah, there isn't going to be too many people that will be going to this event by choice, because number one, people can't afford to go there. It's like having $500,000 a ticket, and some tell me that he's going to try to pocket the money for himself, you know, on the national security or something like that. And most of the people that will go there not by choice, because he can try to force everybody to do it any way he can. Number two, no one's gonna want to go there at all. Period. If anyone had a choice in the matter, because they can't afford it, and they got better places to put their money. And second of all, because nobody likes him at all to go there by choice. You know, probably saw Russia and China and North Korea and such like that. And he said, you know, those people really like the leaders. They're perfect for the leaders. You know, they die for them and such. But realizing that they have such control over their people that if they don't give fake fanfare, those people will be dead, or their families will be dead. You know, they're very good in China and Russia and North Korea into threatening the people into do what they want to do, and give them fake fanfare and make them look like they're real loved. So that ain't gonna happen in America. Maybe if somebody like Trump were to be in power for another 10 years or so, maybe that would happen then, but not now. Anyway, which, by the way, when it comes to security issues, I can understand getting a ballroom, you know, maybe not a big, huge ballroom, but like an enclosed space, you know, for protection of the president and his guests. You know, it doesn't have to be like a big, grand, huge ballroom made of marble and gold and all this other shit too. But, you know, a nice enclosed space would be nice for protection and all that. But it's funny that he constantly wants to have a ballroom, and now he's trying that he's not gonna get the ballroom and something like that. But you want to be consistent with that, then why are you having a big UFC event in the open? You know, what happened to your security detail for that? You know, you just forget about that you want to be protected on all sides by big thick glass and a big concrete roof and all that. You know, any number of things can happen in that same scenario. Yeah, especially if you're in the middle of giving a Hammy speech about how much you rock and how much everybody else sucks, and how the country was bad and evil under Biden and Obama and all that other garbage. So that's something that kind of irks me, that he thinks to spend all money on something so stupid like a grand ballroom, but yet he wants to do this everything outdoors in that big arena type setting. Now, this is where we get into speculation territory, okay? Because I know that he got rid of the rose garden part out of spite or something. He peeked over with concrete or whatever. And being that they're in the middle of June, when it's gonna happen on the 14th of June, it's gonna be hot. Like very, very hot over there. I have been in DC in the heat of the summer, so I can't say that personally, but I heard that a couple of days ago, Dana White was talking about how much there are going to be bugs and all that stuff, gnats, mayflies, moths over there during that event with all the big UFC lights and whatever and whatnot. So that could be a big issue. I thought Trump was going to drain the swamp, not create a big giant cesspool for flies and God knows what else that will get in there. And speaking of which, this is the funny prediction I have. I would like to make a bet with you on something that if let's say Trump is in the middle of making a big speech, granting himself, saying I'm the best president ever on earth and U.S. history and this and that, and everybody should bow to me and that kind of thing, and say thank you and all this stuff for paying more for groceries and this and that and the other. Really hear me up. I could imagine a fly or some kind of other insect going right into a big gaping pothole when he's speaking. And whatever happens after that, to anybody's guess, but I know for a fact that somebody on the right will say that you see Obama set the fly or Biden set that mosquito to get Trump. I guarantee that's gonna happen. And you know what? If that does happen, I'm gonna lose my shit. I'm gonna piss my pants laughing so hard that he finally got what he deserved into his big pile. Now, that being said, there are going to be tons of insects up there. Like Dana White said, there's going to be flies, there's going to be moths, there's probably going to be mosquitoes there, there's going to be God knows what else. And being that these flies and other insects like to be around like fecal matter as well as garbage, rotting meat, etc., etc., etc. I have a feeling that this little vent might become a little super spreader, a mini super spreader event of disease and all that, which goes kind of hand in hand with Trump's little handling of major pandemics and major emergencies that, try to downplay everything and it always ends up becoming far worse than anyone predicted, the worst that anyone has ever seen before. Especially because he dismantled so many health-oriented agencies, because as a businessman, he doesn't view them as important to America, which is complete horseshit. We need every last agency that we could possibly need. I hope the next president will restore everything that he takes down and destroys. Now, I went through all the troops, all the people who defend this flag, and or who like to support the freedom of speech, the First Amendment, freedom of speech, and as such, I would like to make a debut of my new hat, dedicated for Mr. Trump. My dad bought me this hat because I can't afford to do anything else on my birthday, so it's very appropriate for this. Because we can't afford to go to DC and laugh at his face. Laugh at the angry old man just because that's all he is right now. An angry old man just yelling at everybody. Yelling about his failure in Iran. Failure that no one likes him. Failure that all of his economic policies are going down the toilet. Failure that nobody likes him. Failure that people talking crap about him. Everything that he wanted to do is going to go down in history as being very poor. Not only that, but another prediction I had that I almost forgot about was the reflecting pool. I understand that little project will not be done by July 4th. Not at all by June 14th. His precious birthday. And even when it is done, there'll be a high cost, and there'll be a very poor job. And number 3 is that there'll be leaks, and there will be plumbing problems with it. So it'll fail within a couple months or a year at most. And of the year. Because he's gotta take everything precious to Americans and somehow Trumpify it and destroy it through glitching it up. I'm sure it didn't help matters any that he drove the presidential motorcade into it, which I'm not an expert on anything, but I'm gonna say that a few hundred pounds or a ton of vehicle plus his fat ass probably didn't help matters either. Cause I doubt it. It's that kind of push and the weight on the pool floor was a good idea. It wasn't meant to have the kind of weight put on it, especially with President cheeks. So yeah, it's gonna be a disaster, especially for the man that he's using funds for, taxpayer money to pay for the January 6th rioters and all that, as well as himself, I'm sure, and the big 250-foot arch that will be a big disaster and an eyesore. So yeah, I salute everyone, and I can't wait to see this thing crash and burn like everything he does. And by the way, I have a feeling that besides all the bugs, the heat will get to people. Especially if you got an 8-year-old overweight dementia patient as president doing most of the speaking. So, for his own sake, I hope that he doesn't do a big long-winded speech, because That's not a good thing for an old man like that. Especially, it's not good for me either. I'm a healthy 4-year-old person. Well, also be healthy. Because of the minor disability thing there. But even I get like a little minor heat stroke from being out in the sun too long. I can only imagine what it'd be like for him. Where I'm not, weight. He's, at least double my weight. So, that's not gonna be too good for him. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Peace out, my brothers and sisters. I'll see you in the next video, all you girls and guys in internet land. I want you guys to give me some predictions as to what you expect to see for the for the June 14th big birthday bash. It's supposed to be the 250th birthday of America, but we all know that it's going to be the big birthday bash for Donald Trump. Idiot. See ya. Sayonara.